Haven't done a video for ages, but hey, why not? Ukraine is what I usually talk about. Well, we all know what's going on there. Basically, NAFO is a bunch of online propagandists paid for to promote the idea that Ukraine is winning and it's a turkey shoot. How else can you convince somebody to walk into the meat grinder otherwise, unless they're deluded that they have a chance of survival and winning? So that's what that's all about. So, you know, business as usual in Ukraine. Next. Well, we've all heard about influencers getting paid lots of our own money that we will be indebted for by the trillionaires and billionaires, which basically print money and give it to themselves to fund their hegemony. Hold on. Hegemony. I always want to say the other way. Hegemony. Now I can't say it the other way. Now I can only say hegemony. That's what I used to say. Hegemony. And I've got to say hegemony. So anyway. So everyone's getting $7,000 of our money to convince us that Israel is our greatest ally, with the emphasis on the last syllable, lie. And anyone who does this is beclowning themselves. So I'd like to dig deeper and go into the metrics of what we're visualising, which can explain all of the insanity that we're seeing. Historically, this insanity has been around in the form of, well, if we win a war, it was because God was on our side. But that's what it is just lubricating their conscience with this idea that they're the good guys because God is on their side because they won. That's what psychopaths do. They leverage justification to lie to themselves, to convince that they're not evil, but rather the good guys and you're evil and you deserve the atrocities that they commit against you. That's pretty much the foundation and the founding stone of what psychopathy is. And a great example that I like to use is the master-slave dichotomy, if it's dichotomy is the word, or relationship. Now, the master thinks he has the right to own another person, so therefore he has privilege, he has supremacy over the other person, and in reality he's a terrorist. He's basically, do as I say and enslave yourself to me, or else it's going to be really bad, right? Cut your foot off, cut your cock off, cut your hand off, whip the shit out of you, what have you, right? Now, but in the master's mind, when you have this privilege, any self-defense or emancipation by your suppressed individual is considered an offence to you. And this is where the inversion comes from, of self-defense being considered aggression and their aggression being considered as self-defense, as we see in Israel blowing up babies in self-defense. And it explains everything, this metric. So the owner who is privileged, or the master is privileged and therefore has the right to own another person, God's chosen people, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Even cowboys and Indians. When I was growing up, cowboys were the goodies, Indians were the baddies. Why? Because that's just how it is. There is nothing behind the reasoning. Our side is good, your side is bad. That's called toxic tribalism. So cowboys killed Indians because Indians were bad because they killed cowboys. You could look at it from the other perspective. Cowboys were bad because they killed Indians, so Indians had to kill cowboys. So who is actually defending and who is actually the aggressor? Well, clearly the cowboys invaded Indian land, so the cowboys are the baddies. But with the idea that Indians are bad because they kill cowboys, therefore cowboys can kill Indians in self-defense, is the perception of the psychopath and the toxic tribalism. And the same way as the privileged see anyone who doesn't subjugate themselves to them. So back to the master-slave dichotomy. So the slave acts in defiance, emancipation, self-defense against having his human rights violated as egregiously as slavery is. Now, the master therefore thinks that, get this, just took a sip of coffee, is the master is the victim. You see, I'm the victim because my slave defied my orders. I'm the victim. Now I have to justifiably punish him. He's up there getting whipped, the slave. So therefore, we have an inversion. We have an inversion where emancipation and self-defense becomes aggression, and aggression and tyranny becomes self-defense and emancipation. And this is where you get the catchphrase, the Jew will stab you in the back and cry in pain. And this is the hypocrisy, the inversion. Well, it's more than hypocrisy. A double standard hypocrisy is a double standard. Like, the same rules don't apply to me as they apply to you. Inversion is another step further. Let's look at a football match. You've got somebody, your team gets pushed into the back, you don't get a free kick. Their team gets pushed to the back, they get a free kick. That's a double standard. That's hypocrisy. Inversion is when your team gets their team pushes your sorry, bear with me. Your team gets pushed in the back and they get the free kick. That's inversion. So there you go. I screwed that up. You know why I screwed that up? Because of indoctrination. Indoctrination is another point I'd like to bring up, is gaslighting. Gaslighting is to make you feel that your emancipation and self-defense is in fact aggression. You're convinced to think the same way as the aggressor thinks of you. So their thinking is projected onto you against yourself. That's called gaslighting. And I have to break that spell, because we've all been indoctrinated. Now, the human is not an idiot. Gaslighting is taking advantage of our learning ability. For example, if we go down the golfing range and we learn a bad golf swing, now we have indoctrinated ourselves with repetition. Repetition is very important when it comes to gaslighting. Often, regularly, gaslighting with bullshit, right? So, I'm down at the golf range, I haven't had prior training, and I've developed a really bad golf swing, and now I'm slicing it all over the joint, right? I'm lifting my head, I'm lifting my left foot off the ground, not bending the knee properly, not twisting properly, it's a bit of a backward motion there, whatever, you know. So we won't go into the metrics of a golf swing, but you get the idea. Now, I've repeated that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, it's really, 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 really hard for me, harder than if I hadn't bothered starting to play golf at all, to undo that bad golf swing, to relearn it properly. So gaslighting, when we've been bombarded by so much propaganda to make us feel guilty for emancipation or self-defense, great example is if you are against the racial supremacy of the Jew, you are the racist, you are the anti-Semite. For emancipation, you're not about racial supremacy, you're against racial supremacy, and especially when that racial supremacy is against you. That's all you're doing. You're not trying to make Jews your slave. You just don't want to be their slave. So with the master-slave dichotomy, they think they're a victim when you don't subjugate yourself to them. So you're the racist, not them. This is inversion. Like, you know, pushing the back. The other team gets a free kick because they pushed you in the back. Not that's inversion. So we've covered gaslighting, and that explains my Freudian slip when I couldn't make the point, because I was being interfered with from my historic indoctrination, especially being raised Catholic. Catholic absolutely destroyed me. I have suffered great trauma because I was gaslighted with this falsehood. Let me get into this. And this is not even the Jews. This is their own. This is the Catholic own goal, because Catholics are filled with the same dichotomy, full of virtue signaling, sanctimonious, condemning psychopaths, the self-righteous half, and they inflict gaslighting. I'm not worthy of this. I'm a sinner that. I'm guilty if I don't love my enemy as he rapes me. This is the gaslighting of their own community, those with a good conscience who can be manipulated. You can't be gaslighted if you don't have a conscience, okay? You have to feel guilt to be gaslighted. You have to feel accountability. and the psychopath has no accountability. So the Catholic religion, you may say it's a Jewish psyop, but no, I can speak from experience. It's a known goal. They gaslight their own community, and you've got your self-righteous psychopath in there too. So being one with a conscience, and a mother who was, it's always women. You know why it's always women? Because it's inherent. In a tribal war, men get killed, the other tribe takes their women, and they just get fucked by somebody else instead. Usually in front of your stuffed skull on the mantelpiece, as a way of humiliation. So it's a bigger price for men to subjugate themselves than women. So women tend to be, in religion, tend to be this passive, very passive, especially in Catholicism, very passive about this interpretation of turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek is defiance against subjugation. I'm going to slap your face if you don't do what I say, and you turn the other cheek in defiance. It's an act of defiance, but it's interpreted falsely by the Catholic churches. Bend over the couch, drop your strides, spread open your butt cheeks, and get raped by your enemy. And if you don't love them for it, you're evil. That's what it's been turned into. So I was defenseless with a good conscience as a kid. I was defenseless against bullying, because if I fought back, I was bad in self-defense. This is not what self-defense is. Just preventing evil from winning. Basically, that's all it is. And love your enemy is actually meaning, well, it's like your mum when you're a naughty kid. She doesn't want to spank your butt, but she has to, because you're a little prick. Okay, so that's love your enemy. All right, here's my enemy. I want to extend an olive branch. If they slap that olive branch out of my hand and they want to attack me, well, then I'm going to have to act in self-defense. I've got no choice. That's what loving your enemy means, rather than just hating them and hoping for their extermination and death. That's what love your enemy means. So it all comes to fruition in that pretty much model that I've explained. And that's why you have to understand what's going on in the world when you see these leaders up there filleting each other with this idea of self-righteousness when they're the aggressor, inverting reality, inverting truth. That's what's going on, and that's why you watch the clown world go down. That explains everything about the clown world. And on that point, I'd like to point out something called blind justice. Blind justice, people hear about it, they see the lady with the blindfold with the scales, and they don't even know what it means. What it means is you're judging based on the weight of the evidence. You're blindfolded to see who is on which side of the scales. That's blind justice. Unblind justice is seeing who is on which side of the scale and imparting partisan bias, toxic tribalism. You're the master, you're the slave, you defied his orders, therefore you're the guilty party in this. Not the fact. Blind justice doesn't look at the master-slave dichotomy. It looks at, oh, this guy punished this guy for not for defying, turning the other cheek, if you would, defying his subjugation, defying his orders. He says, do this or else I'm going to whip you. So that guy who did that, being the master, is guilty. That's blind justice. Unblind justice, oh, master owns that guy. Nah, the slave's guilty. See? So I think I've covered all points in this video. And how long did it take? 14 minutes. Sorry about the pauses and confusion, but I'm on the run and I've got to get shit done. See you later.